Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. So as we kick off the trading week, we're hearing a few ripples of the news that we saw on Friday, where Apple have seemingly lost a long-running dispute against a company called Epic Games. So it all boils down to a judge in California have said that Apple cannot stop application developers for using their own ways and means of their third-party payment options, where originally Apple were enforcing that they could only use Apple Pay on their website. Whereas now it is actually going to be, let's say, open season for a lot of the developers, and it could be quite a big blow for Apple because they did generate over $17 billion in the last quarter just alone on these fees, and the fees can actually rise up to 30% when people are doing these in-app purchases as well. So, for example, a movie streaming service will now be able to tell customers that it can pay through its own ways and means of their own application without using Apple's in-app purchasing mechanism. So, you have to just wonder if this is going to have any knock-on effects to other companies that enforce the same laws, such as Google and Facebook, and we'll see if that's going to obviously affect the US indices as well, because obviously Apple dropping over 3% is going to have a little bit of a detrimental downturn for some of the big indices in America. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And also, I just want to touch on Alibaba, because they, in the early Monday morning session, they have been hit with some news that their shares have fallen quite sharply, and as regulators want to break up Alipay, which is China's biggest payments application with more than a billion users. So we'll keep an eye on that story as well to see what the effects are for Alibaba's shares. But it hasn't been a great year for Alibaba in general, because in April, if you remember, they did actually get fined almost $3 billion over monopoly concerns. So we'll see if anything else can happen to Alibaba along the way. So the last time I looked at Apple, I was just seeing if there's any chance that we can start moving down to this recent peak, and by the looks of it, we have a very nice chance, because as you can see here, shares have dropped quite significantly in the last session, and now we're basically looking at the top border of the Ichimoku cloud as well as this confluence line of the last recent peaks. This is where I'll be placing my bets, let's say, if prices do keep falling downwards as well. We are looking at this bearish divergence coming to play as well, which could really start shaking up the market for Apple in general. I've got this on a daily chart as well, just to remind you. We're just looking at the overall picture of Apple since it has had this news, well, quite detrimental news at least. But let's just take a look on the 4-hour chart as well. Not much in the way of any upturn there as well. We did have, as I said, this quite ascending impulse, but to the downside, we're looking at a bearish divergence on the RSI still. So we'll see if that has any ramifications as well. Again, here, we have got a divergence, but with standard and hidden divergences, we are looking at a trend change. So there could be a bit of a shake-up for Apple, as it's been hitting record highs again and again after the pandemic. So I'll just be looking to see if we're going to hit this Ichimoku cloud top border. The cloud is quite thin here, so it might be very easy to pierce. And then to the downside, I'll be looking to see if we can pierce this $144 area or $145, and then start moving even lower and to the downside. So this is what I'll be looking at in the next few trading sessions. And let's just have a quick look on Alibaba as well. Just want to bring it out to the daily chart, because I want to show you that it's still trading in this descending channel that I noticed from from the beginning of the year, let's say. And we haven't really had any impetus to break out of it. We have had a few slight breaks, you could say, but now we are just really looking to see this continuation, and we'll see how far it can possibly go. I'm just going to pull it to the end of the Ichimoku cloud here. And as I said, we're just clinging on to the mean at the moment, but any sign of a pickup will need a piercing of this Ichimoku cloud bottom border, and then we can see if we can break out once more. But it's not looking likely for Alibaba. We've had quite a lot of detrimental news for them this year alone, so we'll see if anything comes into fruition. Again, we're just waiting to see if anything's happening on the end of that. We are actually trading below the border of the Ichimoku cloud on the 4 hours, so it is looking quite detrimental to the downside. Good for bears at the moment, and another test to the bottom channel regression is likely at the moment, so we'll just wait and see what happens. I noticed this bullish divergence a while ago, a few sessions ago at the beginning of June, but it hasn't really propelled prices high enough to what I was expecting or what we wanted, especially for bulls as well. So let's keep an eye on that in the next few trading sessions. So that's all from the Stockwatch today. Once again, thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments or queries, please add them to the post and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.